Well, good evening, everybody, or should I say good afternoon, everybody. It's time for the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right. Show number 176. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Jimmy Palumbo Show, show number 176. I cannot believe I've done this 176 times, or also known as one Lomas Brown from the Giants. Then did he just roll off the road there? Also, of course, you can't forget one Rosie Greer, Hall of Famer for the Giants back in the day, and also your friend and mine, one Curtis McGriff. Now, I don't even think people in the Curtis McGriff family are talking about him. But also, and this is my little thing for Dave, see how much of a Yankee fan he is, one Tanner Swanson. Dave, do you know who Tanner Swanson is?
That's got to be late 80s.
No.
Well, Tanner Swanson?
Tanner Swanson is currently a New York Yankee coach. But he coaches the catchers. And as soon as I read it, I was like, he has to get fired because no one has stolen a base in Major League Baseball in 16 years. There's like 4 stolen bases, and the Yankees this year have given up like 37 stolen. They steal every game. Like, he's got to go, this guy. So Tanner Swanson, if you're listening, why are the Yankees only team in the league in stolen bases every 5 seconds? Makes me sick. But it's show number 176, and of course, your friend and mine behind the glass. I'm coming from downtown Mahwah in the Average Kitchen Studios. And, of course, behind the glass, a young Dave Sturcio coming from his downtown house in his living room office, lighting beautiful lamp in the background there. Dave Sturcio, welcome aboard here. How you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm good. I got just the trials and tribulations of being a business owner crept up on me. I'm trying to take day by day and how many days can I log at bat? How many out bats can I get in before I pop one up to the pitcher and really feel like I can't play anymore? I did that this afternoon. So I officially popped one up to the pitcher, and now I'm living.
You're like a left tackle who's just getting they're blitzing on every down. Yeah. You look like an aging offensive lineman. I get it though. I know you got we're going to talk about your wrestling show at the end of the show. I left a little time for that. But well, hang in there. It's just showbiz, bro. It'll always, I shouldn't say hang in there because I'm ready to jump out the window myself. So, but of course, at the top of the show, we do a baseball card. Now, this guy, I think you should know this guy, but maybe he's just too long ago. I'm not sure. Mr. Jeff Reardon. Do you remember him? The Terminator with the beard.
I don't know who he is, but a great beard.
He was known as the Terminator. I remember him well. He was a really good player. Some people think he's a borderline Hall of Famer. I'm not so sure about that, but he played from 79 to 94, 16 years, your right hand relief pitcher. His record was 73 and 77, but relief pitching, that's what you get. 3.16 ERA, but he had 367 saves, which when he retired, he was number one. Of course, there's been obviously Mariano and a guy from San Diego and a couple other guys, Lee Smith and stuff like that. But
Hoffman.
I think right now, Hoffman, yeah. I think he's 11th all time, which is still pretty good. He played with the Mets, Montreal, Minnesota, Boston, Atlanta, Cincinnati, and your New York Yankees. Now, he started out with the Mets, and after the Mets traded him for Ellis Valentine, a shitty Met, 5 Met fans just drove off the road. I remember Met fans, we could have had Jeff Reardon, but he was one of those guys who didn't look so good in the beginning of his career. They figured it out. And he was the mean guy on the mound, with the beard. That's why they call him the Terminator. He closed for the Expos for 6 years and Minnesota as well. But in his final year with the Yankees, he got cut. I love when pitchers get cut in June or July. That's how you know they suck. His last year with the Yanks, he pitched 9 innings, gave up 17 hits, 3 walks for a 9 ERA. So he was, he got bounced around in the playoffs too. He got hit pretty hard in the playoffs. I'm not sure. This was years ago. I don't know each game, but his ERA was 5 in the playoffs. So he was a good pitcher for that, and he got knocked around a little bit. but he did win a World Series. But one of the tidbits I read, I think it was in Cincinnati. On Family Day, his wife got booed when he brought her on the Nats, and it wasn't in Philly either. Just imagine that, like, hey, honey, come on the field. Boo. That's the word. You can't boo someone's wife. That's like that Chicago Bull thing when the GM's wife, they booed her. Horrible. You can't do that. But he was the first pitcher to get 40 saves in both leagues. That's a unique thing. But sadly, very sad. At the end of his career, like, I'm reading all about him. I'm like, oh, yeah, nice career, retired. He made good money for $2 or $3 million a year back in the day. But sadly, his son unfortunately OD'd, and it just blew his mind. And he started to, like, get depressed. He started to take, like, prescription drugs, and he just, like, fell into, like, literally they say for like 2 years he, like, just sat, like, in a living room on a couch, and then he was taking so many different drugs, he, like, really lost his mind. He went out to a jewelry store, and he had plenty of money, and, like, wrote a note and said, put jewelry in here. I got a gun. And then he walked outside, and the security guard was, like, right there. It's like in a mall or something. And he was like, oh, I think I just robbed somebody. Like, you know where he was. He didn't even have a gun on him. But if you say you have one, that's considered armed robbery, I think. And he ended up, like, getting arrested, and it was, like, really bad. I remember reading about that. But he ended up getting, like, drug insanity. They charged him not guilty because he didn't, like, do anything really. He didn't need the money, and he never had any brush-ins with the law. And supposedly now he's doing okay. He's a little bit older than me now, but just a crazy retirement story from a very good pitcher. He almost got, when you get he got like almost 5% of Hall of Fame votes. And then you would, if you get a certain amount, then the Veterans Committee and all that.
Yeah, you stick around for a little while.
But he fell short. I'm not so sure. Relief pitching in the Hall of Fame, to me, there's Mariano Rivera, and everybody else sucks. But I don't know how. I don't know, but that's it. So my guy, Jeff Reardon, in 1988 car, and also Jeff led the Carolina League with 3 shutouts in Lynchburg in 1977. I still love the bullshit they have in the back of a car, but that is it. Jeff Reardon here at Shea. Do you have a car? Or did you forget?
I do. I went with the current landscape of sports right now, because obviously outside of baseball, football's starting to ramp up. We got training camp, but if you are interested at all in the Olympics, which I really am not.
Oh, we're going to get to that in a minute.
I mean, there's other reasons why not to be involved with the Olympics, but when I was growing up, the Dream Team was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And what they're trying to do now is duplicate that. And my card today is Mr. Steve Kerr, the coach of the current Olympic team. American team.
I hate
so the only reason I bring him up, first of all, dynamic 3-point shooter. Everybody knows the story of Steve Kerr. But like I watched highlights the other day, and he had an interview after one of the wins, and they're like, well, you didn't play Jason Tatum at all. Like, how deep can a basketball team be to not get Tatum on the court? And we won the game, so it's like all good, but like, it blows my mind, the idea of them even coming close to losing. When I saw that roster on the court the other day, I'm like, Curry kicks out to Durant over to this one over to LeBron dunks. I'm like, what the? How on earth can we ever lose?
and again, my argument for the GOAT, with 35 seconds left to go, they give the ball to LeBron James. He's 107 years old, and he's still the best player on the court. Makes me crazy. I hated Kerr. He was that little prick who would hit the big three.
He was like the white kid that played against the Knicks.
And then for years with the Knicks and Rutgers, I was like, what? Because Rutgers for years, like, why can't we get a Steve Kerr, a guy who's too short, no athletic ability? You kick it to him on the outside, he's lights out from 3. Why does a guy got to be 6'10"? No. I want a bad athlete. All he does, I get the ball, I'm open, I shoot. Because Kerr killed the Knicks.
It was like he reminds me another white guy. It's Steve Kerr, and then remember Mark Price?
Oh yeah, of course.
Another one. Pesky little shit.
It would never. None of those guys were on the Knicks.
No.
I'm told Rutgers got a guy this year.
It's so funny. This card, it looks like Mark Jackson is guarding him. The Knicks.
Yeah. Well, he would hold. Mark Jackson would hold him to 9 points, but there would be 3 3-pointers with less than 3 minutes to go. That's why it's awful. I couldn't stand it. But that's a good one, Steve Kerr. Yeah, you know what? First of all, I think Steve Kerr's job, like you said, this is the hardest coaching job he's ever have to do because, like, everyone off the bench. And here's another thing about the Olympics now. Okay, I watched one of the games. The horrific courts that they play on with the colors all over the place, so stupid, like the Brooklyn Nets, that bullshit. But I got to tell you something. First of all, it's really not the Olympics because the Dream Team this year was playing against, I don't even know, Germany or Serbia or somebody like that. And there was at least like 6 NBA players on the other team. Like, there's no like guy named Uviov, some Vuviov. And like, no, it's all like, oh, that guy, he's on the Nuggets, he's on this team. Yeah. So it's really like an
they
NBA
go to play for their home country. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's even going to be worse. Like maybe like 3 or 4 Olympics from now, it's just going to be like the NBA represents the Olympic. There's no, I don't know. There's something shitty about it. But
the other day, I'm sitting there. I'm like the Joker is playing on the other team, and I'm just like,
that's one of the games.
That's all well and good, but if we lose to one man, I might lose my mind.
There was another guy. I was watching. Anyway. Listen, they should win it. God bless. I think the women are going to win it too, but even though without Caitlin Clark getting involved. But all right, well, we got big news here at Shea from the Omni. I never said it that way before. From downtown Mawa, we were mired in a slump. Mired on my Patreon at 42. However, late breaking news, literally a few minutes for the show, and I had planned to discuss 3 guys on my Patreon list that are what I call part of the pure fan base, where they're just they're not related to Palumbos. They're just right there. But we've added someone, and his name is, hang on, I got to get the kids. It's Killian. Wait a minute, hang on now, I suck. I got to do the interweb. It is Kanin, Kanin, but the email is from Tyson Hogan. So I don't know what's going on there. I see Tyson Hogan on the comments. Tell me he's near and dear to your heart. I don't know who it is, but he just joined as number 43. So we are now at Spider Lockhart. And of course, with even bigger news is 44. Everybody knows in softball I wear number 44. Reggie Jackson, where we have to get a 44 from someone.
You should just sign up for your own Patreon.
You know what? I might have to do that. But I don't do it. I'm a purist. I stick to my Patreon. Someone's got to try to figure out a way to pay Dave every Friday. The Friday text message I get. Oh, he's fun. I think he's just saying, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Come over for a beer. Instead, it says Venmo, and that'll do it here. And I know you giggle at that all the time. I know when you said it.
That's the thing. Like, here I am, like, you know, I do this. Obviously, yeah, I run your socials. I edit the podcast. I do a couple services for you and your brand. And I'm like, every Friday when I send it, I do send it with like this, like, damn, I got to charge him again. You know, I'm like, yeah, F this guy. I'm gonna.
I know, but
drain his bank account. But I'm I gotta get mines.
I started to text you back. Oh, nothing more than my Friday text message. So it makes me. I get aggravated and I laugh at the same time. I don't know what the
well, here's the breaking news: Tyson Hogan's son.
Tyson Hogan's son is number 43, and it's Kanin. Am I getting that right? Kanin. That's what it says on the list. We are at 43. Tyson Hogan is just like LeBron with Patreon. No, actually, my brother's LeBron. You're Kevin Durant, Tyson. That's all I got to say.
He funds the show.
But I was gonna say, it's so funny that Tyson Hogan came up big. I was just gonna talk about the 3 what I call part of my pure fan base, and that is Tyson Hogan, Will Pena, and Daryl Clark, my LSU brethren. They are just part of like cool fans that are fans of Artie, my show, Rutgers. Who knows? They're just I've gotten to know all 3 of them a little bit, and they are part of my Patreons, which I really appreciate. All Patreons here at Shea. I'll have to find out more about Kanin and how old it is.
By the way, what a great name!
Oh, it's Kanin. All right, Kanin. All right. Sorry about that.
For 3.
Oh, it's like Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon. That's it. Tyson Hogan and the toy cannon here at Shea. I appreciate you. And of course, if you're wearing the patches, has Donna contacted you yet?
No.
Maybe we're going to get her involved in that Staten Island show. Maybe Maybe we can do something with that. That looks like the kind of audience. But it's chasingmiracles.com. That's right. They are the stem cell patches. Go to chasingmiracles.com. Talk to Tommy and Donna. These things work. I'm wearing them right now. My mother wears them. Her friend wears them. These things work. I played pickleball yesterday. Horrible. And I did have the patches on, and I didn't feel so bad after, which is really cool. No needles, non-invasive. They work with, you know what it is? It's shit your body needs. And Donna and Tommy love when I say that because it's true. They repair your cells and all that kind of stuff. So go to chasingmiracles.com and look into this new age way of taking care of your body. That's the way it is. I know Dave wears them and he felt a little good with them. So we'll see what happens. They may be involved with sponsoring some other stuff that Dave's got going on, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Okay. Well, let's talk about the Yankees for a quick second. Listen, we won 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox, smoked Philly last night. Giancarlo's back. Listen, he was 0 for 4, but I thought, listen, the last 5 years.
Now you're going to sound like Boone. Oh, he had a couple good at-bats. Like,
but I was saying
0 for 4 is 0 for 4.
Okay, time out. If you know anything about Giancarlo, number one, he's still their best player. I will tell you, his at-bats after he gets injured in the last 5 years have been like, oh my God, this guy even, like he looks like he's playing pickleball for the first time. And I thought he looked comfortable at the plate. He didn't look, and again, Zach Wheeler, not exactly. To me, it was like, hey, Boone, maybe you should have waited till Tuesday night. It's like one of the better pitchers in the league. But he had some decent cuts. Yankees were smacking the ball all over the place. I don't know what they're going to do with this Ben Rice guy. His batting average is so low, but he's got a beautiful swing. I got to watch your boy Chaz.
No, it's Jazz.
Jazz. Okay.
No, that's a John Sterling moment where he's like, up next is Chaz Chisholm. And I'm like, well, you got that all wrong. Try that again.
Jazz. All right. Well, I remember that.
Like the Utah Jazz.
Of course. Okay. Well, of course, I didn't realize he's now the Pete Rose of the major leagues now after 8 at-bats.
Yeah, he is.
But I will tell you something. His swing reminds me of Darryl Strawberry's. It's got that torque. He looks like he's going to be okay, but 240, he's still batting the same as Giancarlo Stanton. So I don't want to hear shit. Give him more time.
It's versatility that's going to help him in this lineup, and the fact that he went from the outfield right to third base and he'll just do whatever's asked of him. Like you need somebody like that. In the clubhouse.
I agree. It's a good move. I don't care who they got rid of to get him because Yankees just reload anyway. And you know what? Sorry, you can't play DJ LeMahieu anymore. He's batting 170 for a long time. He didn't hit last year. I was on him last year.
So this is. I felt like there was a Jimmy Palumbo moment. I think it was Sunday night's game against Boston, or it wasn't last night because I didn't see last night. I just saw a bunch of highlights from last night. But so at the end of the game, it's like DJ LeMahieu now here at first base as a defensive replacement. Like
he's like
he looks more shit. I was like, this guy almost won a batting title a couple years ago, and all of a sudden he's just dog shit. I can't believe.
But when he hits the ball, it doesn't go anywhere. It's crazy. I think something's wrong. I'm going to say they're going to find out something's wrong with him. I hope not.
I never met your father, but I feel like you just had your father moment right there.
Right.
Like, you're looking like there's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with him.
It could be like I don't know. Am I frozen now? I feel like I just froze up. Am I frozen?
Yeah, you're froze. I can hear you, but your picture.
There we go. Here it's Shay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. He just
there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that guy.
Something wrong. I hope he's not like a Lou Gehrig thing. That's what it seems to me, but I hope not.
Jesus Christ!
I know that's how bad he looks. He looks like Gehrig in 39. That's the funniest line I've said in like 4 weeks. Another thing about the Yankees, though. First of all, everybody steals bases on them. That's a joke. And I think the Yankees play sloppy. And by the way, the Phillies and the Yankees were the 2 best teams in the league in April. They both stink now. I know they got
Phillies still have the best record in baseball.
They still have the best record, but they were like 28-1, and now they're like, telling you, Philly's not that good either. But they'll be around, I guess. So it's good to see the Yankees win a series. I've won a series since show like 158. Getting back to the Olympics a little bit. Hey, I could care less. I can't believe I'll put the Olympics on. I don't know. They're on 5 channels. You got to find E! Network. They're on. I don't know. And I don't know what it is. I have no interest. I'm tired of seeing like Simone Biles. Like she injured her calf. She hurt her. Like, what is going on here? Like, I hate injuries. That are you hurt? How could you be elite and still hurt? I don't know. The whole thing. I'm not into it. I can't. I watch it. I was watching the rugby thing, which I think the French team won. And I don't know. Maybe I'll get into it with the track and field when that gets going. But I don't know. I could care. Maybe I'm watching the Yankees or I'm watching. Call the midwife.
Look, it's too. It's too. And this is no knock at like. Listen, these are some of the best athletes in the world, right? So it's not like you can't knock the athletes. It's just like the spirit of competition. I get it. It just seems so lackadaisical. Like, okay, you want to. I'm not seeing enough storyline. I guess I'm a storyline guy where I want to see like. Vladimir from over here in Russia is going against this one, and it's like, okay, great. Like I heard I heard today on Boomer and Geo that there's actually competition for surfing. I didn't know that.
I know that's another. You know what? Actually, in 4 years, podcasting is an Olympic sport right now. And Jimmy Palumbo taking on Joe Rogan here at the trial
in the 1 versus 64.
1 versus 64. Palumbo a quick 3 takes the lead against Tyson Hogan against Joe Rogan right there. And now we're drinking orange stuff out of the water bottle. Dave is trying to get in shape.
Little hydration.
Oh, hydration. All right. You got to do there's other things. You got to get the
there's also the packets. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know why. My mother's yelling at me. What do you mean you're not at the Olympics? It's the national spirit. I'm like, I don't know. I ended up watching like News 12 what?
Maybe because if it was in like the States, I don't know. Like
all I know is
thing, it's like
when I sit on my couch with a glass of wine, Air Disasters is up 10-7 against the Olympics. That's all I'm saying right there. A quick 3 from Air. I still say that show's the most. Why it's the best show ever. People I love the mistake.
All you're doing is you're waiting for people to just go down.
The bad acting by the pilots. Everybody knows who follows this show. But also,
breaking. We got some breaking news here. Breaking news.
Yankees
this is big.
Traded.
This is big for the Yankees.
Oh, big for the Yankees. Here we go. Live.
The Yankees have traded away infielder Benjamin Coles and right-handed pitcher Jack Neely for Mark Leiter Jr. This is somebody that they were going after and they were eyeing up. That's another big pitching arm for the Yankees. He's a right-handed pitcher. Mark Leiter Jr. is coming to the Yankees.
So Al Leiter's kid, but how old is he?
That'd be Mark Leiter, his brother. So yeah, Cubs. He's from the Cubs,
and he's good. I don't know anything about him.
Yeah. No, he's very good.
I don't know. First of all, I don't know how good Mark Leiter Jr. is, and I don't know anything about the guys like him. You could have said Yankees just got rid of Bill Jones and John Smith, and I'd be like, oh, that's a big loss. Do you know the Mark guys Leiter they got rid of?
Huh?
So, now they didn't trade Nestor Cortez yet, did they?
No, I did see rumors about that.
By the way, the Nestor Cortez show is closed. I mean, that whole spin, he gets wrapped. He stinks.
Oh, so here's the thing with Mark Leiter Jr. Oh, he's a reliever, so he's not a starter. We definitely needed that, 100%.
Okay. Is he a closer?
So his pitching stats. So he hasn't. I'm trying to figure out, like, because I know somebody was coming off an injury, but anyway, go ahead.
There'll be a negative on that. He's coming off an ACL torn. It'll be some injury we never heard of. The ulna bone behind his left kneecap. Anyway, you know what? They have to do something.
An ERA of 4.2. 36 innings pitched. He's got a win-loss record of 2-4 out of the bullpen.
Okay.
But again, we didn't give up on anybody for him, so it's not. It ain't that big a deal.
I'm going on record early on. He stinks.
He'll be fucking closing games before Clay Holmes.
Yeah. Holmes, I can't even watch him pitch. But getting back to the Olympics really quick, first of all, the one sport that I actually tape, have you watched any of the beach volleyball? Dude, the women's beach volleyball?
There's only one reason why I would tune into beach volleyball.
Again, you've heard me on record say, I think women's softball should be a bigger sport than the WNBA. And in the 2-hole I got right now, women's beach volleyball. Did you see the Australian team? Oh
no, I haven't watched any of it.
Okay, I'll get you clips. It is like watching, I don't know what it's like watching. It's like watching a Miss America pageant. It's unbelievably how hot they are. It's just the greatest thing ever. And that was corroborated with me by my friend Jim Myman, who's a very Catholic man and a good fella. And all of a sudden, even he was like, oh my God, I think his wife was into it too. He's going to kill me for that. But the women's beach volleyball, the Australian team wants to talk it over. But anyway, I just thought that was so funny at the beach. First of all, I would be able to play beach volleyball for about 11 seconds. I have trouble walking. Like when I go to Wildwood and I try to walk to the beach. Have you ever been? When's the last time you were at Wildwood?
Well, I mean, last time I was on the beach, I was trying to set up a ring on it.
Okay, that's Point Pleasant. Okay. Wildwood's like walking from Woodbridge High School to the McDonald's on St. George Avenue. Okay. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, I couldn't play that sport. But big news this week and tonight, even much bigger news. I'm going to totally beat Mark Leiter Jr. here. Well, Sunday.
Here's Sam Grasso coming in saying he's been in the minors for the last 5 years after having Tommy John surgery. So bargain basement shopping here.
He stinks. By the way, everybody
I think he's good. I just, again, any arms in the bullpen will help the situation as to what it is right now.
Everybody mocks out my stinks list. I find it very accurate. So, and speaking of stinks, my Sunday beer league softball team, the Potbellies, became the 5th seed, which is the highest seeding we've ever been. We were unceremoniously bounced out of the playoffs. We took an early 1-0 lead, okay? Then we gave up 6 runs in the bottom of the first, 6-1. Final score, 7-2. We got smoked. I was 0 for 2. I had 2 horrific. I only got up twice. Awful at-bats. I had a dribbler, popped up to the first.
How do you only get up twice?
Because that's how quick the innings were. After we got one, I think we got 4 hits. It was horrible.
Brutal.
So we had a great season, but even bigger news tonight, coming to you from downtown Mahwah. My softball team is the number 1 seed. We got a bye. They played last night, so tonight is the second round of the playoffs, 7:30. Now on the year, regular season, I finished the year 20 for 43. For an average of 465, I had 19 singles and 1 triple. So I did smoke it over his head. I should have scored a home run, but I'm too fat and slow. We got a game tonight. There's 4 teams left. All teams in this league, I think, are even, so we could easily get bounced. But I'm looking forward to it. Everybody's all fired up. And look at Sam Grasso, upset alert in Mahwah. No doubt about it. But I started off the season better than I finished, so I'm going to be angry at the plate. I'm going to pull the ball a little bit and start hitting those lazy Susan ones over there. I'm going to be smoking the ball.
So I assume to get text around 8:30. Just
yeah,
figure
right.
out
I'll let you know 0 for 1. For some reason, I text Dave after every one of my at bats, which Sam's saying 1 for 5. Sam's a Cowboy fan, isn't he?
I don't know. Maybe no.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay.
Oh, he likes Tampa. Oh, come on, I can't listen to you. Tampa Bay.
I don't know. There's so many goddamn Grassos out there.
I know.
It's like
I always
dynasty.
get confused which one is which. I guess Sam's about to tell us on the comment thing. By the way, we're reading comments as we go, so if it sounds stupid on the audio version, deal with it. I guess I should be like Michael Kay. Jimmy Palumbo here, wearing the red Rutgers hat with his Molly Hatchet shirt. Dave, of course, is wearing his New York Knicks shirt, and his hat is one of those stupid Cowboys.
This is a Jordan.
Oh, it's even a Jordan custom jersey, and wearing one of those cowboy hats that you can't tell what it is unless you're in his face. Will you just get where is your hat with just the white star? Do you have one of those?
I don't know, but that's a nice hat, man. It's got American flag behind it. Like
that's stupid. That's
American
not the
team, baby. Come on.
Why can't you wear? Do you have an actual cowboy hat? The ones that like Troy Aikman wears on the sideline.
You said the same shit to me 3 years ago.
No,
you're like,
3 years ago you were wearing White Castle hat.
White Castle hat.
No, I know that's. I know that's.
I never wore that shit again.
That's a stylish hat you're wearing. I get it, but you should. I look at Sam. He's brother. Your brother's a cowboy. But don't you like the traditional cowboy hat? And by the way, only reason why I'm bringing this up, I'm totally pathetic on my own. I actually went to go put on a Yankee hat, like a new era cap, size 7.5 Yankee hat, no 47 brand, like the regular. I lost it. I don't know where. Like, I do not have in my house a Yankee hat. That will be rectified within 48 hours. I was going to wear a Yankee hat today, and I'm like, I don't own one. I have to get my own regular interlocking NY Yankee hat, official, not one that says, American flag or the troops or the pink ones. Regular. See this? Right away. Rutgers. There you go. But anyway, I digress. So I'm looking forward to a big softball game tonight. Love to see if we can win. I want to talk about the Giants on Hard Knocks. Okay. Have you ever seen two people more uncomfortable than Mara and Tish on that show?
So
they look like
I've met Mara and Tish when I worked for them in 2007, and when I tell you, they're very intimidating people to be around, right? Like just they just carry themselves just a little like professionals, but like they have money, they run this place, and it's just like you got to tread very, very lightly. When I'm watching Hard Knocks lately, and Joe Shane is making like little tiny jokes about the fact that they won't be able to afford Saquon, I'm like, Mara's gonna eat you alive.
And how about
you got to get out of there? Man.
And how about John? This is how loud John Mara is on the show. Well, all right, if you're not gonna get sign Barkley, I think he doesn't go. He knows where the cameras are, and they had a meeting, and Tish was there. Not a word. He's the Giant. By the way, you know this. They are the only team in the NFL that are 50-50 owned. Did you know that? As a matter of fact, in their deed of the NFL, if they get in an argument over buying a stadium, the commissioner is the deciding vote. Did you know that?
Did not know.
Very, very unique situation. So Mara says 3 words, and then Tish says nothing. I think Tish, when he gets out of the room, goes up to his son, who I think he's in charge of marketing a little bit, and said, if we're ever on Hard Knocks again, I'm firing you, your wife, your kids.
They got out of the like the normal Hard Knocks, which starts with the Bears in a couple weeks. But like this is the offseason one. I'll tell you what. Like again,
do you like this one?
We talked about this prior. Like if it's a team you hate, can you still like invest in it? And I dig it because I'm a nerd like that. I'm a nerd, and I love that off-season shit.
I will tell you this. The best part of the show so far, without a doubt, I'm almost positive you're going to agree. You ever watch the NFL draft and you just feel like they're waiting? Oh, he's gone. Next guy. They actually had a meeting. That's what Tish was in that scene. And they went through all the if-then scenarios. That was pretty awesome. And that was something obviously has to air after the draft or something because, it did air after the draft. They were like in front of the owners. They're like, okay, we're the 6th pick. We think he's going to go first. We think he's going to go. And when they got to like 4, they were not sure where it could go based on their intel. Mm-hmm. And they did all these and the Giants were actually going to maybe move for a quarterback. They were doing all this different stuff. I thought that was the coolest part of the show because you can see how teams don't just like, oh, he's gone. Who are we going to go next? It's very like they already have all their if-then scenarios set in place. I thought that was very cool, and I thought Shane did a really cool job of explaining that, and the other assistant guy. But I just think, I don't know, I just think the Giants look like if you and I got hired if you and I were in that room, me and you would have been completely like, oh yeah, Dave Stern Show, Jimmy Palumbo, discussing the draft. Like, I wonder if, and also, but maybe like, especially with a team like the Cowboys, there's no way. Jerry Jones is 90 years old now? There's no way. I know Jerry still owns the team. Don't get me wrong. For sure. But there's no way Jerry Jones is, come on. He's not on top of everything. His son, someone's carrying the load there.
Did you, I know for a fact you didn't watch the opening press conference for the Cowboys this year.
I heard he was rambling.
He literally, it was Joe Biden a Jace. Right, it really was. Right. And I was agree. Like, dude, can we just get the mic out of his face?
Yeah, they should.
And even, bro, so it's Jerry. It's Mike McCarthy, and then it's Stephen Jones. And at one point, like 15 minutes in, they're like, does anybody have a question for Mike? Like, they pull him out of practice for this shit, and Jerry Jones won't shut the hell up. So he just he said the word ambiguity, right? And then people remixed it as a music video. He must have said that word.
Right.
I don't know.
And he was trying to make
25 times.
He was trying to make a point. Listen, I can't stand Jerry Jones, but I have to acknowledge he major prick when he first got into the league. But he actually has made you're not going to hear Mara or Tish complain about Jerry Jones now Wellington couldn't stand him. But
Everybody's rich because of Jerry Jones.
no doubt about it. And not because of like the games. It's local beer deals, stadium. He fought the T-shirt.
I remember hearing that story. I remember hearing that story where it was like, all right, the NFL's we're doing Reebok. And he's like, well, I'm going Nike. Right. And you're like, no, you can't, Jerry. It's hey, watch me. Right. And all of a sudden they got the rights to Nike. And next thing you know, the whole fucking league flip-flop.
Also, like, local beer. In other words, if the Giants wanted to sell Jimmy Palumbo lager, we weren't allowed to. And now they can make and they get local sales. And that's a big deal. Of course, they still split by 32, the behemoth TV contract. So to me, the owners made a good move, and Jerry was part of that. And the Cowboys, of course, by one trade, added like 7 Hall of Famers. And since then, it has been all rest of the league. But I don't think Jerry Jones is a good GM now. He got too old. And I think actually the Cowboys, when he really steps down, I think they'll be better off. But listen, he's a legend. It's tough to get rid of.
Even starting to follow his trends, so it's like it's not any good right now.
I know
it's a mom and pop billionaire business.
Well, that's what they say. The Giants were that way for a long time. It's like, but they say a lot of teams are that way. It's like this big thing. And if you think about it, running an NFL team, it seems like the draft. You got to have scouts. And then those scouts report back to you, and you read their reports. How good is the receiver in Alabama? You know, and
I remember being on the field for one of the home games when I was working there, and I was like, who are these friggin' idiotic, moronic kids running around with the gloves and they're all like younger kids, like 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm like, get these kids off the field. They're like, yeah, that's Mara's grandkids. You can't speak to them. And I'm like, how many fucking Maras are in this place?
Maras all over the place.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. Anyway, in other news with the NFL, I was having fun with former co-host Chris Gucci. The money thing now has gotten away from me because Jordan Love got this contract, and I realized that you can't look at it as, I mean, he had a good, like Jordan Love is making tons of money, but you know what? Once a team realizes, okay, this is going to be our guy, they got to write the check. Giants had to do it with Jones. They had no plan B. They made the playoffs, so they didn't have a good draft pick. So it's like, sorry, you got to write the check. And Jordan Love, I mean, he had a good year and all, but my God, that's a massive contract for a guy. I don't know. Do you think?
I mean, like the older heads will say, like, even my father, I was talking over the weekend, and he's like, Jordan Love played one game. Like, what? I don't understand. And I was like,
that's how
Dad,
I feel.
you have to understand something. Like, it's no longer performance based. It is you're up next. The other guy just set the market, and if you're younger, you're going to reset the market. That's it. There's no like Jordan Love is very good. He's very good. And he's going to be very good this year, and he's going to be good for the Packers. But like I will say, like it's a timing thing. It's not it's not like, it's against Dallas. Let's give him the biggest contract ever.
No,
it's not
I agree.
That at all.
It's like timing and the spreadsheet on the salary cap. That's it. And then I'm sure, just like with Jones, if Giants can cut him after this year, and also Andrew Luck, the backup quarterback on the Giants. I guess DeVito is starting. Luck's starting to bark with DeVito barking. But you know what? One thing I don't like, I think DeVito. I swear I could be wrong on this. I think DeVito is going to be just as good as him. I do. This guy's been on 3 different teams. He never gets close to starting.
I like Drew Lock. I like Drew Lock a lot. And if the Giants have to go week 1 with Drew Lock, I give him a fighting chance to win the game. I do.
I guess so. I have to see him play more. I will see what happens here. But yeah, the money part now is just like, what? Even Soto, they're saying like $700 million. Like, it's like, what? But even though
you know what's funny? You can't, and this is any sport, you can't rationalize this with the non-sports fan.
You can't.
Because it's like I trying to explain to my wife like what they're making, and then I'll break it down. I'm like, he's actually making $1.2 million a swing, right? She's she's just disheveled and just working all day long for a salary. And she's
can you
fuck them? Like, I'm not dealing with this.
Could you imagine if I signed a deal like that? How awful would my at-bats be? I'd be like, on the announcer, like, Palumbo was batting .335 for 9 years, signed a $700 million, but since then he's batting .141. I'd be smiling. I would try to bunt. I would just be like, oh, okay.
just stepping along with your elbow.
It's all guaranteed. Anyway, Rutgers started their camp. I'm going to make an early prediction. Rutgers is going to go 8-4. That's my call based upon
That's a hell of a season. What'd they go last year?
6-6. They won their
game difference.
2-game difference. And by the way, I'm going to a little caveat to the prediction. I think they're going to go 8-4, and this is if things don't go their way. In other words, I think this could be because for 4 reasons why. They have a better quarterback. We've had bad quarterback for the last 2 years. They have better wide receivers. We've had no wide receivers.
Wait, it's not Wimsatt this year?
No, Wimsatt's gone, man. We got the guy, the Greek freak from Minnesota.
Wait, Wimsatt's gone.
3 weeks, the kid from Minnesota came in, starting quarterback, Minnesota transferred. 3 weeks of spring training. Shiano announced Wimsatt's not starting, and Wimsatt's back in Kentucky.
He's going to go back to the lunch table.
He's at Kentucky now. And he won't play there either because he stinks. Our wide receivers, we had an NCAA issue guy, which is there's no any such thing as the NCAA anymore. They busted this guy's balls. Stupid. And they got the kid from Monmouth, who was one of the best players at that level. Also, their defense, a lot of guys returning, and their defense was good last year. And I got to be honest with you, Dave, you don't follow college football, but I'm going to give you a scenario, and you tell me the Rutgers, for the first time in 10 years, does not have to play Ohio State, Penn State, or Michigan. Now, those 3 schools in the last 10 years have lost a combined 6 games, okay? We don't play them. Now, I know we got to play USC, Washington, and UCLA. However, USC, quarterback's gone. There's always a transition there. Washington, very good program as well. New coach and a new quarterback. And UCLA, it's not even near as good as Penn State, Michigan, or Ohio State. So I think
they're not on the schedule this year either?
No. And next year we only play like Penn State and Michigan.
They're all in the Big Ten.
There's 18 teams now. You can't play everybody.
Oh, that's right. The whole shift. Oh,
right.
My God.
Now, but next year we got to play.
Next
year we got to play Penn State and Oregon, which if we ever play at Oregon with the field, we're not winning that game. You're going to get crushed. But this year.
Is it one of those fluff schedules to start the year like it usually is?
Yeah, we open up with Carteret or Howard, as it's called. And then we play Akron, okay?
The Bombers of Carteret.
And then we go, we got a week off, then we go to Virginia Tech away. That's a tough game. But then if we win that game, Friday night, home blackout against UW. I can't wait for that game. I'm taking my daughter to that. We're gonna have a blast.
Hey, listen,
anyway,
whenever there's not a claimed seat in the Jimmy Palumbo department, let me know. I'd love to get to some games.
I'll have tickets. We can go to a game. I'd love to be able to take maybe Miles if you could. You just have to deal with, him crying in the third quarter. I want to go home.
Work show says they're turning college into AFC and NFC eventually with the Big Ten signing. So basically, it's like two mega conferences that they can do. I personally would love that. You can't tell me. It's like when Kyle does his picks, like every Saturday, he's like, let's head on over to the Sun Belt, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't know where anybody plays anymore.
There's all kinds of things that college sports has changed. Who the hell knows what's going? I'm telling you, we were talking to a guy at Rutgers. One of the things on the books is that the football team at every school is just an LLC affiliated with the college. That's actually on the books to possibly, someone's bringing that up. Why deal with the grades? Why deal with anything? It's all money now, NIL. So now Rutgers football is an LLC owned by Rutgers University, and they play football on Saturdays. It makes sense if you think about it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be. I think it's a great move. You have there's not to worry about the kids going to class. If they want to go to class, God bless. But
you want that stupid thing called the degree? Go ahead.
You can take it. I love that.
Yeah, people self in financial debt for the rest of your life. Good luck.
I love that. People that guy, he didn't get a degree. Yeah, but he just signed a $30 million deal with. Does anybody care?
He didn't get a degree, but he's signed by Nike.
So stupid. Anyway, which brings us to cornholelevel.com. That's right, 1995. Dave, yesterday, I know your cornhole was in bad shape. I almost sent you one of these. It's a cornhole. You put it right on there. You hook it on. You move it to and fro to get the right angle. And if you Type in JP Show at cornholelevel.com. You will get a 20% off. These things are cool. I'm not sure what teams they have. I have to check in with Caprio, my second baseman. But go to these things, check it out. And, of course, cornholelevel.com sponsors a section we call Jimmy's Credits. But we're going to go in a different direction. I don't know why I brought this up. I just felt usually Dave does some research and he says, let's talk about this show. And I go with it. But for some reason, I decided I actually was texting with Artie Lange's mother. And I decided to talk about Artie Lange in terms of how me and Artie really started to hang out. I think I've covered some of this on the past shows, but maybe it was with Chris Gucci. It was a long time ago. I don't know. Or maybe when he was on the show, I guess. I'd love to have him on soon. And I'm going to have him on soon enough. But Michael Deej, who plays Alphonse in Beer League, he worked at a restaurant, Alaperti's, with my best friend Mike Ruane. And they used to just sit back in the kitchen while they're cutting up chicken cutlets and busting balls. And Deej would talk about his buddy Artie, who was a piece of work and funny and a ball breaker. And my buddy Mike would say, my buddy Jimmy Palumbo likes to bust balls. And they shot a commercial for Alaperti's. I didn't get cast. They used this guy, Artie Lange, who was friend of Deej's, who can play this funny guy. The commercial is hysterical. Food's so good, it makes you want to slap somebody. And Artie slaps, it's hysterical. A bad local commercial, but it still works. And I met him there, and it was just like, hey, man, how you doing? And I had just started to act. I got a semi-headshot. I was just getting the ball rolling. And I was in a dinner theater show that was cast from the clubhouse in Plainfield, New Jersey. Did you ever make it to the clubhouse? Was that closed by the time you were old? There was a huge.
Plainfield's was down the road from me now, but no.
There was a huge club. When I say huge club, I'm talking about 1,000 people can go in here in the late 80s, early 90s, called the Clubhouse in Plainfield. And they had auditions there. And I went for this dinner theater show. And I got paid $100 a show. Plus, you kept the tips because in character, you serve the food as if you were on a cruise ship. And there's a murder. Matter of fact, my character gets murdered. And I come back as the detective. And some people are like, oh, that's the same guy who got killed. Huge club. I know, Darryl Clark busted my pal unis. So I did that show for a while. And it was a great gig, man. It was I don't know. I was making sometimes $275, $300 a night doing. This is back in the 1990. So we did that for a while. But then the one lady was kind of a cokehead who ran it, and I don't even know her name. And she was a pain. She was cute though. I wanted to fool around with her, but I struck out on 3 pitches. And my buddy Mike decided to take over the direction of it. And we casted Deej and some other people, and we had our first rehearsal, and Artie was one of the guys. He was going to play the drunk guy, which is funny. He had to walk around with a bottle of vodka, which was real vodka in there. And we had a rehearsal, and then we went to the bar afterwards, and I didn't really know anything about Artie, really. So we sat at the corner of the bar, and it was like meeting your soulmate of comedy and friendship. I mean, he was doing John Sterling material. We were doing Bill White and Frank Messer. And we just were busting balls on shitty Yankees from the 70s. And literally we didn't even talk to anybody. It was just me and him drinking. Artie was drinking his signature Cuervo Gold with 1 beer. He'd have 1 beer and drink shots all night. And he would kind of sip the shot and then bang a few back. And we just hung out. And then after a bunch of shows, I said, look, man, I'm going into the city, these open calls. I was a new actor. And Artie was like, I want to do it. I want to do it too. So I started to pick up Artie in Union. I drove from Colonia to Union, picked him up in my 1989 Honda Civic. And we drove into the city on these open calls. We didn't know what we looked like boobs. We didn't know what we were doing. We were talk about natural talent, I guess, what either one of us has. I don't know, but we would get callbacks. It was just so awful. But what happened was we auditioned for first thing we did was we got headshots. Okay. And I've said this on the air. They cost $75. The name of the business was Photos by Larry. We went to Piscataway to a guy. We walked in. we were all excited, like, we're getting headshots. We're going to be in showbiz. And the guy was like, okay, come in the back room here. You want a brown background or blue background? And he rolled the thing down. And Artie and I was like, I guess the gray background, whatever it was. We sat down, and Artie and I started to get the giggles at how not giving a fuck this photographer was. It was just like, we thought, like, we're going to get headshots. We thought it was going to be creative, like Vogue magazine. It was like a shitty back room of a shitty apartment.
Look off into the distance, but not right at the lens. It was like,
it was all that. Cool. It was nothing. It was like, yeah, look here. We asked him, like, you think I should wear a red shirt? The guy's like, yeah, wear whatever you want. Like, there was no creative. He took the picture. But the funny thing is, a couple years later, I still use them. I actually we both got signed by William Morris at the time, biggest agency in the world. And my agent was like, dude, what you got? Your headshots are awesome. Where'd you guys get these? Artie said, photos by Larry, and everybody in the room laughed. And me and Artie were like, it's true. Just goes to show you, if the photographer catches the shot, they get you. So we started to audition, and we auditioned for this group. Now, I got to give Artie credit for this. It was called the Alan Chan Improv Group. It's Chinese guy, Japanese guy, whatever. He ran this group, and they were casting. And I was hesitant to do it because I never improv. Went on stage, I had to do all these improv games. What did I know? I did 3 community theater plays in downtown East Brunswick, New Jersey, for Christ's sake. And so we ended up booking this, and there was 2 groups, the regular Alan Chan's Improv and the world's sexiest improv group. Artie and I clearly did not get in the world's sexiest improv group. But there was Tina Arning. I wrote these names down. I don't know if anybody listens to the show, but Tina Arning was hot. Lillian Garcia was hot. Dana Herman was a doll. Mike Stafford, who became Key. Jack Gindy, who I'm friends with. And America's adorable Victoria Sawyer. I loved her. She was so sweet. And we started doing these improv games at comedy clubs. And it became, now again, I got to give myself credit. Artie and I were like a team, but really all I had to do was bring the ball up, get it inside to Artie Lange, and he sky jammed. And the other cast members, they fought like they didn't realize I was mature enough to go like, okay, Artie's the best player here. So when you do an improv show, what do they say? Get it to your best player, right? So, but I was like a young Steve Kerr. Whenever Artie kicked it back to me, I would hit my 3-pointer. I did my thing. Trust me, I wasn't shitty, but I wasn't as good. Artie was just lights out. And one day we show up to a rehearsal, and the guy comes in. He's like, "Yeah, guys, it's over. I'm not doing this anymore." Alan Chan just quit. We were like, "What?" So Mike Stafford, and Artie should thank Mike Stafford every day. Mike Stafford took over the group and decided, hey, we're going to do sketch comedy. I'm going to bring in, he brought in some different girls. He brought in guys named Joe Nelms and John Krevlin, real creative guys that still work in the industry. And we started doing sketches, and we called the group Midnight Madness. Not original, but, and Artie and I started doing this sketch called The Date Sketch. I'm telling you, man, we had our yellow jackets, Monday Night Football jackets, and we would like announce a first date. And
you sent me this, and I've seen it, and it's fucking great.
First of all,
you want to get that online? Because I mean, if that's
we do have to get that online, because I just doing that announcer voice. Now I'm in my element, and then I had Artie, who had his own way of doing it. So the two of it was probably the only time where I could go toe to toe with Artie, because I do announcer voices like while I'm setting up for today. I'm yelling out Frank Messer, or
texting you Sunday.
I know and you're doing announcer voices. People think you're insane now. You'll be in a straitjacket. So we did this sketch, man, and it was long. It was like 7 minutes, but it rocked the room. All we had to do was be down by 7, get to the date sketch. We blew them out, and it was awesome. And but then we had a huge audition at the comic strip for a show called Mad TV. And we were live on tape. We were called Live on Tape at this point. We were a pretty hot group at the time, and we had some great sketches. And we had an audition. I'll never forget. It was me, Artie, Amy Wilson, and Tom Bolster. He was a Mousy from Game Day. And I remember, man, the comic strip was packed because everybody knew Fox Network was coming in doing the sketch show. So anybody in comedy in New York City was in this room. And I swear Artie will probably disagree with this, but I'm not going to lie. For some reason, I was ready to go. Like, I was like, hey, this game 7, give me the ball. I'm going to pitch. And Amy was tight a little bit, and she was beautiful and very talented. She just struggled. They seemed to be intimidated by, at Fenway on a cool Friday night. And even Artie was a little off. It took him, but for some reason, I was like, good evening, everybody. I had the best sketch ever. Who gets the audition for Mad TV? Artie Lange and the beautiful girl in the front. Me and Tom Bolster are left to go do Game Day with Mike Ruane. I was bummed. Because Artie was dealing with this manager who could get him auditions. I was bummed because I was like, you know what? I just scored 35 points again. Give me a shot. But I got to give it to Artie. They saw like 50,000 people for Mad TV, and Artie booked it. And in the beginning, man, we went out there, me and Deej, when Artie booked Mad TV. You have no idea. It would be like, picture if you all of a sudden became like on ESPN Sports Center tomorrow night. I would be like at the taping going like, oh my God, I can't believe Dave Sturchio is like on Sports Center with Chris Gucci. It is unbelievable, right? It was so filled with like, holy shit. What, like one of our guys made it like this. It was no jealousy. It was like, you gotta remember, we were not in showbiz at all. And all of a sudden Artie was on a taping on a Fox lot. Me and Deej, it was awesome. And then Artie got some money there, and next thing you know, he bought a Mercedes, and he showed up with the roof down. And me and my dad were out in front, and he says, "Art, come on in." And he threw my dad in the car, and he pulled away real fast. My dad got a huge key. My dad loved Artie; he thought he was a riot, and it was just the old Artie was there, man. But he started to make some money. And I don't know, LA screwed him up. He just wasn't really ready for LA. I was back doing live on tape. And about 8 months later, we got a deal with NBC, which was even a bigger deal than Mad TV. It was the largest late night pilot deal at the time. And we used to do the date sketch. We reworked it. My buddy Tom Bolster, he played the announcer. And we put Tony Menudo and Amy Wilson in. And listen, the sketch was not the same without Artie. I'm the first one to admit that. But in many ways, we were able to improve the script. We just made it tighter. And if Artie was in this group, it would have even been tighter with him. And Tom Bolster did it a different way. And it was still a hot sketch. And I shouldn't even talk about this, but Artie has really annoyed me. I use the word hurt, I guess, but if you want to sound like I'm, feminine side of me. We were using the sketch, and we were using the sketch at, and we used to do shows on 42nd Street by 10th Avenue, and he came from a break from Mad TV. So here's a guy already is like in the NBA, and he's coming down to a pickup game. Okay. And we had just announced we got signed, but I didn't get any money yet. I didn't know how big this deal was. And Artie was already on the air. It came back during Christmas, and our group got really hot. We had to add 3 people to replace Artie. Totally legitimate, but that's how it was. And we hired Mary Birdsong, who's in the diner scene, and Tony Menudo, and Barbara Harrell, and Alec Holland. These people. First day of rehearsal, man, with the new people, I acted like I'm in the league. I got smoked. I lost round 1, and I was smoked 38-0. Oh, forget all 10-8 rounds. I didn't go down, but it was like this match is over. And I had to turn around and really get it going from there. But we did the show one night, and Artie came in, and he knew. I asked him, Art, is it okay if we can use the date sketch? Because he wrote it, but I added a little bit to it. So did some other people, but Artie wrote the most of it. I'll agree to that. We did the show, man, and we rocked the room, man. Rocked it, trust me. And the show went unbelievably well. So Artie, here he is on Mad TV, And I can't believe I'm talking about this now. We get done with the show, and I thought Artie was going to give me a big hug. You guys were great. He starts cursing me out in front of everyone. You stole my sketch. The fuck is your problem? You stole my sketch. I said, no, Art, you let me use this sketch. I said, and we rewrote it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I have the original copy. There's nothing changed. I go, Art, what are you talking? And it got so bad that the cast members were like, this is so wrong of Artie to do this. He said it in front of agents. It was shitty. I ended up just walking away, going up and getting a drink, and he just took off without saying goodbye. I was pissed. We didn't talk for a while after that. But I finally, who gives a fuck? I went to go see him in LA. God bless. We had a lot of laughs. But Artie just changed, man. I mean, I guess when he started making money, he was drinking a lot, and then it led to he started, doing some coke, and it wasn't in the beginning. It was just drinking and cocaine, But this is all in his book. I'm not revealing anything about him, but right. And then he just changed it. Like we couldn't harder to get in touch with. He just, I saw him every once in a while, but it was just sad. He just he just changed. Showbiz got to him, and then of course that led to other things and different drugs and harder drugs. And we did shoot Game Day, the short that led to Beer League, and then we didn't talk for a very long time. He gave me shit in Vegas, so I didn't talk to him for a year and a half. And next thing you know, we were shooting Beer League, the movie. But I've always remained close with Artie, very close friend. And I know he loves me and I love him. I always will. Sometimes, people are like, well, why do you still love Artie Lange? Sometimes he treats you like shit. I'm like, nah, it's not Artie. That's the drugs or liquor talking. He's a good guy. And I'll always love him. And his mother and sister are really good people dealing with someone that has addiction issues and depression and stuff. And I stuck with him as much as I could. He was kind of a hard guy to get to. And I still talk to him every now and again. I text him more than I talk, but I keep in touch with the family. And I know everybody's like, well, how's he doing now? Of course, after Mad TV, I should have added Artie got on Howard Stern and the rest. That's when the big money started happening. I forgot to add that. And Artie was great on that show. Artie, when he's in the games, he's like Lawrence Taylor to me. When he plays, he's the man. Just, after the game's over, has some issues there. But yeah, he's Artie. Everyone wants to know, how's Artie doing now? Artie's doing okay. He really hasn't done anything in public in a while. I'm hoping that he gets his head together. As far as I know, he's sober, and that's a big deal. And he's just trying to put it all together. And I always remain hopeful. I'm hoping that soon enough, Artie will be back to maybe doing some stand-up and getting his life back together.
That was the last time I saw Artie was stand-up at Stress Factory. And like, it was actually post a lot of the bad stuff. So it's like, I got to see him towards the end of his public appearances, and he still lit the crowd up like the 4th of July. Like, dude, and like I said, I went out to Vegas when I was 21 years old. And the one book that I read on the way was Too Fat to Fish. And I was like, this is a great story. Terrible book to read on the way to Vegas, because then you think you're going to lose everything. But everything he's touched is gold. Beer League for me lives forever.
Right. He's great.
And just everything he does, even when he was on the Joe Buck show. Oh, like,
it was great. I just rewatched that.
It was so good. I mean,
and Artie says that the story,
the Cowboys are at the brunt of a lot of jokes because obviously he's a Giants fan, but man, oh man, does he still packed that right hook. And Joe Buck, now I like Joe Buck. I really like Joe Buck, but like back then I hated Joe Buck. So to hear him get on him.
Well, Joe Buck actually did a forward on some of his books. And Artie, first of all, Artie told me, I remember afterwards, I was like, Art, what did you do? He goes, Jimmy, I'm getting screwed here. After the first 20 minutes, they must have stopped for a break. And the producer came up to him and said, Artie, because those two actors were like boring, Rudd and the other two stars now, huge stars. But the show wasn't going anywhere. And the producer, Artie, you got to light it up, man. Do whatever. Artie's like, really? Say whatever? Like, just go? Artie's like, yeah. He goes, just go, man. Joe Buck wants this to be like not it's on HBO, so it's R-rated. And back then, HBO wasn't doing this kind of, now they do it every week. And Artie just So at the second half, Artie came in smoking his cigarette. And he lit it up, man.
I forget. Listen, I don't remember exactly, but the one line where he's like, Joe Buck was like, I was on my favorite website. He's like, that's your favorite website. What's your second favorite website? Suckingcock.com.
No, that's the best. And
I was rolling with that.
I know
it
was funny as hell, and that's why Joe Buck ended up publicly a few times. Hey, I'm tight with Artie. I have no issues. And he even did a forward in the book. And Artie says, yeah, Jimmy. And Artie didn't care because he was making big money at that point. But he was like, yeah, I got totally screwed. I look like HBO said, oh, you can no longer do it. Yeah, that didn't last. But unfortunately, Artie got caught up in the lifestyle. I'll leave it at that. There's more things I could tell you about Artie that I just feel are private. And I feel that in today's world, like everything, even if you're a D-list celebrity, everybody knows everything. And as part of me that's like, no, I was approached by a couple of documentary people that are doing stuff on Artie and they wanted to, and I was like, no. And you know what? I could use the money. I probably could have got a decent dime and I would have given them a perspective that no one else has. But you know what? I talked to the mother and sister. These are private conversations, and it's like I don't want to talk about things that I know.
Because that would have been a very big Jimmy Palumbo sellout moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm friends with Artie, and some people are like, oh yeah, he used to do. Now I was friends with Artie when we had nothing. We were just starting out in showbiz, and there's something about in the trenches. Anybody from any of those sketch groups, including like Mad TV for Artie will love them forever, and I will love all my live on tape cast members, including Artie. I wish him well. I'm rooting for him. I may go see him next week. Believe it or not, I'm going to be in Hoboken, and I'll touch back. I'd love to get him on the show. I mean, he did the show twice. Wasn't feeling that great, but I think we can get him on again. And also the Beer League, the series. He's welcome to hop on that thing anytime. And I still love him. And I love his mother and his sister. They're good people. And I just, it's just, you get caught up in that shit, man. I don't know. I never got caught up in it. Thank God. I could have. I just didn't do drugs and whatever. So, we wish Artie well, and we will see him soon. That's my prediction there. I don't know. I predicted Rutgers going 8-4, and we'll see Artie Lange soon. 2 huge predictions coming out of the Jimmy Palumbo Show for 3. And, of course, everything around here sponsored by Absolute Eyewear, 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937. Go check them out. Janine and Craig Michaud, they're good people. When you leave there, you don't feel like a jerk off. They got all kinds of products there. They're down by the train station. Dave Stern Show uses them. I'm wearing glasses right now, which I have to get new. Jay Bird, if you're listening, I need glasses. I got to stop by there. You got to help me out.
You'll get a text response in 3 days.
I'll get a text in 3 days. It'll be after Giancarlo. I think I owe her dinner. I said his first at bat, he was going to hit a home run. Also, really briefly, I know we're running late. Did you watch the wide receiver show yet?
Yeah, I'm like 5 or 6 episodes in. I don't even know how many more there are. I think there's like 2 more or something.
Yeah, you know what?
I dig it.
It's not as good as the QB one.
No, definitely not as good as the QB, but I'm definitely I'm just a football junkie. I'll eat up anything.
No, I am too. I like to watch that stuff, but I thought
it's like I think they chose the wrong people in the circumstances. Meaning, like Jefferson gets hurt, he's out like all year.
I guess
all right, cool. So what are you going to talk about? Like, I'll talk about my bling and my teeth and my. It's like
right, and yet he seems like a really good dad and all that. But
they're so funny. So George Kittle, there's one scene, and I'll wrap with this, but like the George Kittle has a scene where like he's in the parking lot and he's saying goodbye to his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and he's like, "I'm gonna kick some fucking ass today," and she goes, "Yeah, you kick that fucking ass," and like my wife was sitting next to me, and I was like, you know what? And before I can even say anything, what I wanted to say was, why can't you just be more like her? I couldn't even get it out. She goes, she doesn't work. She doesn't have kids. I don't want to hear anything.
That's true. That's true. And they, right. And, yes, all the receivers that they used, Kittle started annoying me, like, oh, that like feel good thing. That's why and you did not win Super Bowl. So go home. But I didn't realize how good he is.
Oh, he's great.
And a great player. You know what it is? The show seemed forced to me where the first one on QBs, it just the Cousins, the B players on the QB one were very, very obviously Mahomes, best player in the league.
Well, these are all stars, on this one, right? There's no Marcus Mariota feel good story.
But I thought the Mariota story was because that was, I think they made a mistake. They should have went with a guy just, some receiver just trying to.
I'm sure there'll be running backs or some shit
sure
like
it's
that.
Gonna be that,
I'm sure they'll feature
Saquon
or whatever,
They're going to do head coaches, but they'll probably never allow that. Anyway, I'm done with Cobra Kai. But before Cobra Kai, it's okay. It's Cobra Kai. Of course, nothing is as good as Call the Midwife. Calmest show. It's like smoking weed watching Call the Midwife. I gotta get your wife to watch an episode of Call the Midwife.
I'm sure she already watched it. She watches a lot of
no,
shit.
She does. It's on the BBC. She's on Netflix.
Oh, then probably not.
The thing is, I know your wife doesn't listen to the show, so you tell her that Call the Midwife.
Only if I mention her, I usually show her that, and I'm like, "Hey, look, I mentioned."
All right. Well, but we do have to announce on this show, Dave Sturchio's Wrestling Factory. I got that right. Struggled there for a second. Is doing a show in Staten Fight Factory. Is doing a show in Staten Island, similar to the one.
Well, obviously today was some things I'm working through, but Staten Island. We're calling it Knuckle Brawl. I came up with that name because I feel like it's at a baseball stadium.
It's going to be at where the Staten Island Yankees used to play.
Staten Island, where the Staten Island Ferry Hawks play.
You're going to love that.
Eastside end up. Sam, I probably know exactly what you're talking about, but we're often duplicated or tried to be replicated, never duplicated. We're the best. Staten Island Ferry Hawk Stadium. Very excited about that.
And it's on a Saturday night.
September 21st.
You're going to do like more under the lights, I guess, right?
Yeah. We'll start at 7:00. So another great way to stress me out is to worry about the weather again. So I gotta get inside. I was like, I gotta get.
Are you gonna have you're not gonna have a tent over or anything? Can you do that?
What?
Is that just a tent over the ring?
No. We'll figure it out. We saw it was pretty cool to see like the tickets on sale through their website. So like you see the baseball field, you see where the ring's gonna go on the pitcher's mound. Like it's just it's a cool thing. So we're excited about that. I will say the hardest thing about this so far is going through the red tape of the New York Athletic Commission.
Right.
That is something that New Jersey doesn't have. Like New Jersey is all balls to the wall, do whatever the hell you want. New York, it's like, got to have a doctor, got to have an EMT, got to have an ambulance, got to have this, got to have this. It's like,
but you know what, dude?
They're trying so hard to make you not want to run their show there.
Listen, to all my fans out there, I could give a shit about professional wrestling. I actually hate it, but I went to Dave's show and I was completely 100% entertained. It's a riot, but I also totally agree with the New York State Commission of Athletics. There should be a doctor. There should be therapists. There should
be fine, but it all costs money. It's like running me like close to $2,000 just to have them there. It's
but dude, I think
I get it. No, I get it, but it's like
get sued
again. I feel like they make it as hard as possible to enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? Well, I'm trying to provide, trying to promote this event. And
what's the date on that?
September 21st.
September 21st.
Saturday night.
Saturday night. All right. At Staten Island, where the Staten Island Yankees used to play. I've been inside that stadium.
The backdrop of the stadium is literally the New York skyline and the Statue of Liberty. So
I shot a commercial inside that stadium.
Oh, cool.
And I also, my trailer for FBI Most Wanted was right outside the stadium. So I had time to kill a 12-hour day and I was losing my mind. So it's really cool. It's a cool setting. The water in the background. You're going to get some cool drone shots and shit. So anyway, that's it. Dave, September 21st, wrestling in Staten Island. I think you get a nice raunchy bunch there. It'll be fun. All right, kids. Well, this show went long. I hope you enjoyed me talking about Artie. It's always a little weird for me, but that's it. Jimmy Palumbo Show signing off here from the Omni. And that's
Take care, everybody.
All right.